Have you always liked stirring the pot?
Yes. So fucking bad. I'm so bad about this. Like, to this day, I don't need a Twitter.
Hello world, and welcome back to Billion Dollar Baby. This podcast breaks down the billion-dollar ideas from today's cultural leaders who have pushed past the traditional route to create their very own pathway to success. Today, we are going to jump into the life of someone who's absolutely dominated the internet space. She has completely mastered every social media platform she touches, as well as built multiple million-dollar businesses while going viral for controversy that she did or did not mean to end up in. Having a super fan base that's the size of some countries' populations is not easy, but this girl knows exactly what she's doing and makes noise doing it. So who do you think of when you hear the word canceled? I must be talking about the one and only Tana Mongeau.
Hi guys. Oh my God. Thank you for having me, first of all.
I'm so excited to
You're
have
one of
you.
my favorite people on this
Vice versa.
planet. And we spend a lot of time off camera, so I think it's fun.
I'm so excited to have you. I always speak so highly of you to so many people just because I feel like, obviously I've known you for so long, but I've seen you along your journey, like from the outside, and I've just watched you do some crazy ass shit, but like you stay true to who you are at the end of the day. So I've always said that about you.
You say the nicest stuff about me. Anytime you talk to anyone, I will hear what you said coming. I'm like, she is just gassing me for no fucking reason. You are like the sweetest, and you've been there to help me through like a lot of shit. You know what I mean? Our journey is like so sweet and sentimental to me in my head. Like us as babies, like being crazy in LA and how we met and stuff is just like so funny, and how far we've come.
I know.
Shout out Unruly.
Because it's a crazy freaking world in LA, and it's easy to get like lost in the sauce, and there's a lot of different types of people and situations. So like having those people that you can be grounded with, or are not gonna fuck you over or have your back is
absolutely
important in this world.
Knowing like you're definitely one of those people I know I could always fucking call if I like needed you, and you'd be there. Same. I hope you know that. Yeah. Might be an hour late, but
I know. I was like, first of all, thank you for coming today. I know it's a big deal for you.
I love your house so much. I fucking love you. I was down. I'm about to. She's a fucking indoor pool. Do you talk about this? Are you like, hi, I have an indoor pool. That's how I would open
the episode.
Everything. Like I can't with your house. It's like Disney World.
All right, so today I'm going to jump into, obviously you blew up at 17 years old, which is pretty crazy and probably a lot for people to go through at such a young age. Obviously there's great parts about it, crazy parts about it. And one of the things I love talking about, because I think it's such a taboo topic, but so many people in the world want it, is fame. Okay. And so you've mastered this on the internet.
You're so nice to me.
And I've seen just a lot of people look at you, and I've obviously worked with so many influencers, so I see a lot of people look at you like, how the hell does she do it all? I'm telling you. So, starting with your YouTube, what was like the light bulb moment that made you be like, okay, I'm gonna go on YouTube?
I love light bulb moment, because I don't think there was a motherfucking light bulb on anywhere. Like I wasn't like, yes, this is how I wish I was, you know what I mean? But I just grew up obsessed with YouTube. Like, so I was like that generation. Like I loved all the OG YouTubers, Shane Dawson, Jenna Marbles, like Smosh, like that whole era. I lived for it. Yeah. And I just like always really liked the concept of being able to leave my world and my day and whatever was going on in my life to kind of like engulf myself in someone else's world for 5 minutes, and everything is butterflies and rainbows, and I'm, you know what I mean? And I wanted to do that for other people. And I guess, thank God, I grew up in Vegas and had a fucking fucked up wild life already. And I just started telling stories from my life, and people somehow wanted to listen. So
because you've had like clearly a very unique experience growing up and stuff. So I have a lot to talk about.
I think
such a different place back then. Oh yeah, it felt so much more raw. Like raw and authentic, and not so like high production.
Exactly, and I battle with that even now, because I have all my friends that like I'll be with, and they're like shooting their content with their 8 videographers and their production teams, and I'm like, what about my iPhone? Like I think I just will forever be like, I want to I want someone to feel like they're sitting in this room. I don't want it to, you know what I mean? And I like the high production shit, but
but every once in a while when you do that, it makes people feel relatable to you, because then when it's so perfect, it's like, oh, okay, she has like a full team and like, is this real? And like, so it's kind of cool that you do.
It's very true. And even if if I was doing some full high production shit, people would just be like, bitch, I know there was a crunch wrap in your bed an hour ago. Like, you know, I think even if I tried to like fool the world with this perfect life, everyone would just like, I couldn't if I tried.
Did you always know you were going to have fame, or was it just like accidental?
So fucking accidental. But I was stoked on it because realistically, I probably would have been like a Vegas stripper. And so I'm grateful that it happened for sure. But like, you know, fame is such a weird concept to me.
Yeah.
Like, I never want to be like walking around like, I'm famous. Like, I don't want to think like that because it's like, I think that's the detrimental mindset that a lot of people get, especially like, I see all these new TikTokers and it's so funny because I get to meet them at all these events. And you can kind of see people taking like two paths, you know, like the slow and steady. They're grateful, they love it, they're whatever. But you meet these TikTokers sometimes, they're like, I'm fucking, you can just tell.
Yeah, it gets their head in a weird way.
They think they're like Oprah level. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, it scares me because it's like, my brand is kind of like fuck men, like it's like it's a joke, you know, for the most part, but I love to make that joke. And I just know if my like fan base was all men, I'd be like pumping out the bang energy deals and like finessing.
And it's so cool, it's like flattering when you have girls because it shows they love you for so much more than looks. They're like, I love your personality, you know, like you're inspiring them in ways. So I feel like having a female following is like ride or die.
100%. I think that it's awesome. It really does feel ride or die. They're like all my fucking best friends. And it's crazy because I really do. I feel lucky that the foot that I put forward online is like truly who I am, because it's like then when I meet fans, they're just like me. You know what I mean? Because it's like cool. If I was like putting on an act to be something, the people I would garner would probably be different. You know,
that's so cool.
Type of people,
that's that's so true.
So I love that.
Yeah, and you literally are the exact same.
It's actually scary.
No, it's a good thing. I'm like you got to a place in your life where you're like, I don't care to post exactly what I'm doing, who I am. Like, how did you get to that place where you're just like, I'm gonna be completely me?
I think that, I guess when you like kind of blow up for being exactly who you are, it does make it a lot easier. And I always say, like, don't get me wrong, if I blew up for some, like, if I had to make videos like Brent Rivera and I was all like on brand and sweet and fucking, I would do that too. Like, you know what I mean? It's a great job regardless. But I feel so lucky that it kind of is just for me being me. And obviously it has its highs and lows in that regard. I probably would have made billions more dollars if I was a brand safe girly. But I don't know, honestly.
I feel like what I see with a lot of those people too is like, once you get stuck in that brand that you like got famous for, it's really hard to figure out a way to transition. Yeah. You're just like, okay, I'm stuck doing this, but I'm also this person now. Yeah. Or I was that person when I was 16, but now I'm like 25, I don't want to be that person 100%. Anymore. 100%.
I still notice that. Like, if people are like, you've changed, I'm like, thank fucking God. I was just such a wild child. Like, I've been doing this. Obviously, you've known me forever. I think I knew you when I was literally like turning 18 type shit. Like, absolutely. So, I mean, I was so wild and impulsive.
Yeah, I think you weren't even 18 yet when we went to EDC. I think
I was sneaking in. And I think I was sneaking in, absolutely. Which now just feels like a decade ago. Yeah. But I can still remember it like it was yesterday, honestly.
You were so good at it. You got in and you're like, I'm fucking here. I feel like I have a flash of you doing that.
I remember that EDC so well because I felt so like cool, like a little influencer, you know, because I'd been sneaking in for years because I'm from Vegas. And
EDC's wild. Like when you're young, you just can party and last for so long.
And I thought it would never end. I was so convinced that I would just be this like steel, like woman of steel forever. And it's like now it's like a hangover is like 3 days.
Yeah,
it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, that brings me to you've been sober for how many days?
Like 60 something or maybe 60 of 75.
Damn.
So I'm almost done.
I'm so proud of you.
I did not think I could do a 75 hard challenge ever in my life. Years ago, I definitely couldn't, you know, and you know that more than anyone. It's been great though. I feel so like on and tapped in. I really just want to live like this lifestyle forever.
Yeah. No, it's good to take those times and actually do it, and then you're like, okay, it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's really not. Like the first couple weeks was like hard, and I think you have to accept when you're sober that social situations might be a little more boring.
Yeah.
But it makes you hit the whole reevaluation. Like if I don't like this sober,
then why would I want to get drunk?
Yeah, like then why do I
don't like it, really?
Yeah, exactly. Like if I hate these people sober, maybe you just don't like these people. They're, you know what I mean?
That's so true. That's so true.
It's been a good reevaluation period.
What was like the light? Okay, you didn't say light bulb, so never mind. What was the moment when you looked at like your YouTube and all this stuff, and you're like, holy shit, this could be like a real thing for me? Like, do you remember that moment where you're like, okay? I
remember receiving my very first AdSense check, actually. And it was for like $4,800.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm done. I'm running for president. Like, I thought it was all figured out. Looking back, I had a big journey ahead of me. But I stayed at my 9 to 5, because I'd already dropped out of high school.
Okay.
Because everything was just turbulent in my life and like at home and stuff. And things weren't looking too hot, and I needed money in it. So I quit. I dropped out of school to make money, and I was working a 9 to 5, and I stayed at my 9 to 5 until I had like 100K on YouTube. And then it got to the point where people were just coming in all the time to like see me, and I felt like my job was kind of like a little meet and greet, which was sick.
That's
as fuck.
Crazy.
And my first boss ever, I'll never forget. His name was JJ. We're still friends to this day. He just like was like, it's time to go. Like it's you can do it. Like you can do it. Because I was scared. I was like, I didn't want to. And he just like had my back, and he was like, quit. Like you like do it. Like go do it. And then I think I ended up spending like a part of my first check at my job at PacSun. I was like, I need new clothes. I need to be so hot. I'm an influencer now.
I feel like that's such a scary leap at first, especially because back when you did it, it wasn't like a normal career choice.
And everyone was like, this is going to last like 3 months. Like,
whereas like now parents are like paying for their kids to like be an influencer.
Which is, it's the craziest turn of events. Wasn't it in like 2020 or 2021? It was like survey says that the number one job that kids want is to be an influencer.
Yeah.
Which is scary. For sure.
Crazy.
Very scary. And I know I was kind of a part of the first generation of that, which is really cool. But I don't know. I think I thought it was going to last for like 6 months. But at the same time, I had nothing to lose. And this is the only thing I was ever passionate about.
Wow.
Was making content for people to enjoy. So it's kind of like I was excited to just keep doing that. And this was before the YouTube monetization rules cracked in as well.
Yeah.
Where now it's like you have to be so PC to really make a lot and be monetized, but at the time you could wild out, and you know, so I was lucky in that regard.
Yeah.
And I just dialed in and tried to do my best, I guess.
What would you say to someone that wants to have fame in their life? Because like we said, there's so many kids and people, not even just kids, there's so many people even that are going to watch this and be like, I want to have that life. Yeah. Like, what advice would you give them?
I can't sit here and be like, you don't want to have my life. Like, I know that I have an awesome, awesome fucking life that people could want. But at the same time, I just guess it's like wanting fame is a scary slope, because you have to really dig deep on like, why do I want this?
Yeah.
And it scares me. I know it's so cool and you see all the cool stuff, but it's like, that's going to boil down to wanting attention or to, you know, certain voids not being like full in your life. And I guess, I know it's just like so cliche to say, but like want it for the right reasons, I guess. I'm like, just want wealth, honestly, not fame. True. But I mean, I get it now though, you know, like I could sit here and be like, want it for the right reasons and like whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, it looks so desirable across the world. And we're in the TikTok era where you're seeing people work a 9 to 5 and then blow up overnight and they're on like a tart trip in Dubai and it's like so cool. And it's like, why wouldn't people see that and want it, you know? It's scary the way society is changing in that regard.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing is like figure out why you want it. And then if once you get to the root of it, decide if that's like something you truly need in your life or something you're just like, who's that going to make you once you are famous? I remember someone saying like, no one changes once they have like fame or wealth. They become more of that. Like that their insecurities like shine even brighter.
That's so true.
So I've met like some people in real life that I'm like, oh my God, you're the same as you show yourself online. And then I've met people that I'm like, you are so different than you show yourself online.
100%.
It's like
it's scary. I hope people can find their fucking middle ground.
Some people are so good at acting like something else online, and then you meet them, you're like, what?
No, it's a mind fuck. It's such a mind fuck. And there's 50% of me that's like, good for you, girl. Run that business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do it. Show the people what they want and cash out. But it's scary, I think, because a lot of people probably have that moment where they look in the mirror and they get home at the end of the day and they're like, who am I?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that you have to find like a balance in that.
Okay, well, this is a topic I really did want to chat with you about. Like, obviously you have a million people that want to do stuff with you. You have so many people that want to work with you, influencers that want to collab with you, hang out with you, all this stuff, people that want you on your their podcast. And you obviously had the opportunity to go on Call Her Daddy's first episode and then didn't come. And
I had no idea.
And then Dave Portnoy, I guess you didn't go on his. So you obviously have a lot of situations, and obviously I've been there a lot of times where talent is like ready to collab with you and then you don't come. But I look at it very differently because I know you have a lot of people pulling you in different directions. Like, what do you feel like? Do you feel like it's a lot for you?
I think for years, and you know this better than anyone, I just wanted to be Wonder Woman who did it all. And I wanted to spread myself as thin as fucking possible at all fucking times. I'm saying yes to absolutely everything. And I thought I could do that forever. And I think I always also kind of looked at burnout as like, well, that's for pussies. You know? And then after probably like 6 years in it, I was like, okay, I guess this burnout thing is real. Like I was pissed that it was even real because I was like, I just want to keep going and going and going. And I think that's one of the most vital lessons I've learned in the last like 2 years is where you put your time and energy is so valuable. And so stop committing to everything. And if you spread yourself too thin on 1,000 things, you're going to have 1,000 loose ends that aren't going to get tied properly.
Yeah, that's so true.
I will actually say Dave Portnoy really... he hit the wake up call for me. That was the Call Her Daddy one was a long time ago and I was just a wild girl on tour. And I'm a fucking idiot for not. But
it all worked
out. Story of my life. But at that time I was on tour and I was like, oh my God, we're going to do a show and we're going to do a meet and greet and then I'm going to do 2 podcasts after and then we're going to do a dinner and a club appearance and I'm going to wake up tomorrow and do it again in the next city. Like I was just...
podcasts are a lot. You're like giving a lot of your energy and talking about a lot. So
I was trying to do everything and then get on a plane to the next city and do it the next day. And for the most part I could. And I know Call Her Daddy was one of the ones where I was like, I had a show. I had the whole thing the day before and I was dying. But Dave Portnoy years later, like that was the moment where I really was like, okay, I'm done with this spreading myself so thin thing.
And that's good.
I've been just trying to really like value what I'm doing and put my, you know what I mean? I'd rather be a rock star at like one thing than a 10th of a rock star at 10 things.
Yeah.
You know?
And I feel like it's hard on your mental health because you're getting pulled in a bunch of different ways and saying no to things is probably hard.
It is because it's like, I want to do it all, you know? And I love, you know, all my friends that I get to do shit with and the people I work with. But at the end of the day, I think I had to like look in the mirror and be like, you can have the best team around you, but at the end of the day, like you are the face of this business and like it's, you know what I mean? You got to keep it going. So you got to figure out what what you can do and execute successfully.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I love this little iPad situation. I want an iPad.
I know, I only use it for this.
Everyone calls me an iPad kid, and I don't have an iPad.
Would you take this all back and live a normal life?
No.
I'd be shocked if you said yes.
No, obviously there are there are things that suck that come with this shit. You don't feel like you have a lot of privacy, and you do feel like a little bit burned out, and I don't necessarily have traditional hours and whatever, but it's like, I feel like a lot of people that are in this space with me would not say this, but like, I do kind of agree with the comments that are like, wipe your tears with a fucking dollar bill, bitch. Like, figure it out. I think that because I just came from so nothing, and maybe it's an unhealthy mindset to have to an extent, like I should allow myself to wallow in it sometimes. Yeah. But I'm just not like that. Like at the end of the day, I'm like, you had nothing and this is awesome. Like you're waking up so burnt out in your mansion, like me. I think that I really am just like very aware and grateful of what my life has
which is actually
into.
Good.
Like it is good.
It's like a way to check yourself.
For sure.
Yeah, you're like, slow down and actually be grateful for a moment.
For sure. Like I wouldn't trade it. This was my dream, and I love it. I really do.
Yeah, I had that moment when I first moved into this house. I just remember there's so many times I'd like cry and not have money and all this shit when I was first starting my businesses, and I'd be like so depressed. And then one time I was here sitting on the balcony and I was crying about something else, and then I like looked around and I'm like, what the fuck am I crying about?
At least
if I could see myself then sitting here
100%.
In my house crying,
you'd be like, bitch,
I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
100%. And it's not even just the material aspect of it all. It's like seeing your dreams manifest so hard. Yeah. It's like, I don't literally mean the architecture of a house or like, you know what I mean? The nice stuff, because that doesn't fill a void. But I just mean knowing that I've been able to materialize my dreams so heavily is a pretty decent life to live.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's so true. So you live a life that 99% of the people will never live in reality.
So weird.
What are like some of the crazy aspects or cool shit you've been able to do with it?
Whew. That's a great question. I mean, I think for a while, like not being brand safe. Yeah. And when I started this, I was talking about this with someone recently. Like when I started this stuff, like the way these TikTok kids will blow up, and then all of a sudden they have a team around them at like Interscope Records and 2 day-to-day assistants and a full-time fucking professional photographer taking all their content, whatever. Like I blew up at the time where that wasn't a thing. Yeah. Like you had to figure your shit the fuck out.
Yeah.
And that
like
meant
starting a whole business.
Hiring your friends and hiring idiots.
And trying to train them.
Yeah. And just exactly like get therapy. Like that wasn't a thing. No one gave a shit about shit like that, Yeah. So, like, I'm very happy now with all of the things I've built, because I know I really had to like fight for that. You know what I mean? Like businesses. And now that I'm finally at a place where it's like, if tomorrow I really wanted like a candy business, I could do it. If whatever I wanted, I can now do. And I'm really grateful for.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And like, I know that, and I think about it a lot. So that's definitely something that I think is really cool about this. I think I got to a point where I'd like met all my idols, and I was like, it's weird, because there's no one else I'm like dying to meet, or anyone else I'm like, the entire era that I was like working with Paris Hilton was like the moment in my life where I was like, this woman is my idol, and she's like mentoring me, and like, what the fuck is going on? Like, because in my head I'm just still like ratchet Vegas, and I am like, I know Paris knows I'm fucking ratchet, but like, it's just like, even just working with you, like getting like when I first signed with Unruly, and we like were figuring all of that out, and like just seeing how far we've come, and like awesome opportunities. Like I know I'm lucky. Yeah. Where I'm at.
That was one of the things I was going to go into, is like, I remember I like ran into you at a Hollywood party. We were up in the hills and we were pretty drunk, but we were looking out at the city. And I remember you were telling me that like you sat with Paris and she told you like so many ways of like being so liked and all this stuff, and like mindsets and stuff. Is there anything you can share with us that like her mentoring taught you?
For a while, it was like, especially like my MTV era and all that type of shit. Yeah. I was like, I want to be famous for a reason. You know what I mean? I want to, do this and do that and whatever. And she really taught me comfort and peace in being like, so what if I'm fucking famous for no reason? I've built an empire off of this. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
Monetizing that and putting your best foot forward in that realm, I would say, is probably one of the most valuable lessons.
Yeah.
And this sounds so like I'm making up this answer for a PR reason, but I mean it to the fullest extent. Is my favorite thing about Paris is every single thing she does. I don't care like what it is. It could be like a TikTok influencer's random pop-up event. If she goes, she is going there. She's being so fucking nice to every single person she meets. If she's filming on a set, she is shaking the hand of every PA and saying hello and having a great conversation. And she's just so awesome and so kind and so through and through. Like, you know, that woman is probably so motherfucking sick and tired of taking a selfie with someone, but she will sit there and take a selfie with every person in the room every single time and thank everyone and be so nice. And she's always said that to me, like, that is the best thing you can do, is just be so nice. It's about your reputation. And
so true.
Like, I just know no one has ever been like, oh my God, Paris Hilton was, maybe back in the day, I don't know, but was the worst. I feel like it's so inspiring. She really, you know, because especially when I like met her and really started to get to know her, I wasn't in my best mental era. Yeah. Like it was my burnout. Like, I hate the world. Like, I don't want to go anywhere. Everyone, like, I can't do anything, like whatever. And she really inspired me to just like, no matter fucking what, if you're there, show up and show out and be so nice, because that's going to be that person, maybe their only memory of you ever.
Yeah.
And she never fails. She never fails that. Like, every single time I see her, and it's like, it's awesome because I know you're thinking in your head, like, everyone is. Like, she's Paris fucking Hilton. She doesn't have to do that. Yeah. She doesn't have to be so fucking awesome and nice. And I think that was the biggest thing. I learned from her by watching. Yeah, like, I was just so like, cool. I want to be just like that. I want to like be like, even if someone met me for an hour one time, I want them to be like, she was a slay.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so true. It's so good because you meet so many people and then they go talk about it to someone else.
Absolutely. Like Hollywood is just not that big, and I think that being an asshole is the biggest ick of it all for me. Like, I just hate that. I never want to be like, I'm sure there are people that could say I was so hard to work with because I'm like an idiot and slow and can't figure shit out and whatever, but
they're not saying you're a horrible person.
Yeah, like, I'm going to be nice no matter what. For sure.
You're like, I'm late, I'm sorry, well, let's start. Let's begin. Obviously, like I said before, I seriously have seen this just because I hang out and I'm around so much talent. But I swear, I've seen like people I could just, you know, when you could just tell someone's curious, like how you do it. Anytime you've been brought up, people are just like, well, what is she doing? Does she have a team around her? Like, I could just tell people are wondering like how you keep so much eyeballs on you and you stay relevant and like all that stuff. But I believe you're just like a mastermind behind it. Because I've came to your podcast when you're doing Canceled and you were like, they just randomly like were like, you're promoting this thing, and you're like, okay, and you're just like figure it out on the spot, and you're like, all right, look. And then you go, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with her? You just get it, you know? And you know how to be funny and entertaining, and you're just great at it.
I think I'm lucky to have a wild, rogue sense of humor for sure, which comes from the trauma, so I wouldn't change it for anything, maybe. But I mean, at the end of the day, for me, it's all authenticity. You know, like, if I can find a way to make some shit work and it's authentic with me and my brand, let's go, let's run it home, let's make $1 billion. Obviously, I've turned down a lot of shit that I don't feel like I can do or I can sell or I can whatever. And when it comes to relevancy, I mean, Harry Jowsey, when I first got close with him, he was like, we need to be clout farming today. And clout farming was just that. I took the term home. Like, it's, because that's exactly what it is. Yeah. And obviously I'm not saying to be an opportunist asshole in every room. Like, you know what I mean? If I'm sitting there with like someone and they're awesome and I would love to garner a bunch of views from them or collab with them or whatever, but they're not feeling it, I'm not going to shove a phone in their face. But when there's an opportunity to do stuff like that, I feel like my old manager would always say that, like, every time I see a photo on Instagram that's like going crazy, you've already commented on it, like you've already liked it, like if there's something trending, like you know about it, like
you're
whatever.
So good at it.
I swear to God, I'll be on TikTok for 6 hours a night. I'm like, it's market research, like it's not, like, but I love this shit because I was an internet kid before I was an internet kid. Yeah. So I just feel like I'm always like taking everything in and kind of being like, okay, this is a trend. How can I do it myself? Or this person is blowing up right now and they seem really funny and I think I could like make some great content with them. Or if I'm at a party in a bathroom with like Bryce Hall or some shit, I'll be like, hold on, this is a TikTok. Like I'm always trying to kind of scheme.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously healthily scheme, be a good person about it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is my job to
It's
show my
literally a
life.
job.
And I know my life is crazy and a lot of people are kind of scared to go too far with it. But I think that, you know, I just try my best to be tapped in and do my best. And some things just fall into your lap. You know, you meet someone and you can tell the internet loves it. So you play into it, or you know what I mean? I think that that's a big part of it as well, just what people like what my fans, if I can tell they like something.
I think a lot of the other influencers, now that you're saying it, they overthink it a lot.
And like fucking, some are going to hit, some you're going to swing and you're going to miss and whatever. But that is a big part of like, I would say, I would accredit a lot of my success to just not, and a lot of my scandals and a lot of my bad shit too. Don't get me wrong. My impulsivity can get the best of me, but I think that if I overthink it too hard, you can just tell. And my shit feels contrived and I don't like it. And
you're like, I'm taking this down.
Yeah, like I just need to have fun.
Yeah, I definitely think that's it now that I'm hearing you say it, because you do, like, even when you're like in a room with, like you're saying, if you're with an influencer, like this is a good idea and stuff, I just don't see a lot of talent doing that in general. And I think that's good advice for anyone that wants to get like known or grow their following.
I couldn't
and
agree
stuff.
more.
Is like, don't be scared to like put yourself out there.
Absolutely. And it's like, I hate all of my first videos ever. I wouldn't watch them with a gun to my head. You know what I mean? Like I was embarrassing and I didn't have it all figured out, but like it's what got me here.
Yeah.
And that really would be like a major part of my advice to people who want to do this, is just like fucking keep shooting and in the dark until something hits and something sticks, and monopolize off that and keep shooting, and then something else will hit, and then that really is like how I am.
I was gonna say that, and even like going up to seeing other people that are doing it that you know, and kind of putting yourself out there
for
trying
sure,
to help them and be like, oh, I'm down to help you, or like want to collab, or
be cringe,
help you make your video for you, and then maybe they want you in your next one.
Like, I have had people
around
straight up say like, I'm not working with you, I'm too brand safe and you're fucking wild, and I'm like, okay, like great.
Yeah, you
like
don't
it's
take
just
it
like,
personally.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like you miss all the shots you don't take. I know it's corny, but that's just kind of how I am. I'm definitely very straightfortable with it.
I feel like you have definitely like a sense of knowing of who you are, and you don't take it personal, which is hard for a lot of people.
I think that is very true with this stuff. Like I have to separate my job from me as a person. There are obviously things that I do take personally, and that's hard with this whole fame world when you're kind of famous for your own life and your own thoughts and your own, to separate it, you know, it's hard, but like, there's just not enough time to take it personally. I've been doing this for so fucking long that I'm just like, okay, fucking whatever.
Which is great. You know? Being relevant obviously opens up a lot of criticism. Mm-hmm. So how do you deal with all that?
I was just getting on to Jeff about this the other day on our podcast, because he'll be like deep in the Reddit threads and he'll read like one fucking thing and be like, oh my God, this whole episode sucks. This sucks. And it's like, but then he's going to read a comment that's like, you're amazing. And he's like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know, you're indifferent of all of this, right?
Yeah.
Like someone, and I always say this, I probably said this on a million podcasts, but like someone right now is calling me Jesus, and someone right now is also telling me to kill myself and burn in hell. Yeah. And neither of those things are true. Yeah. Like I didn't fucking hang the moon, and I shouldn't go fucking, you know, like you have to take everything with a grain of salt, and you can't let anyone's opinion of you define you. But there is a line where it's like, you also can't be thinking God tier. Like I've always taken even my worst scandals as constructive criticism, or all of those things. You know, if thousands and thousands of people are telling you something, they might be onto something. You know, they might not be too, you know, but I try to take actual criticism to heart and, you know, just always be evaluating and growing. And, but I never take anything too far. Like I never want to like let anyone's opinion define me too far.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard to do.
It is way easier said than done. I think that's one thing I'm very blessed to have. Like just growing up in Vegas whole nine, I've always not really given a fuck too hard what people think, which can be good or bad.
Yeah. Do you, have you ever gotten canceled for something that you think you shouldn't have?
I would put 95% in the like, I deserved that. Or even if I didn't necessarily deserve it, I can look back and at least say maybe I needed that.
Yeah.
Maybe like I was on my high horse a little too hard and I needed to be fucking humbled, you know? And I'm grateful. I've obviously had a million weird fucking scandals. I remember I had one where like the whole world was convinced I was lying about my age. It was like every headline ever. Like I was 30 and nothing ever, which is low-key kind of hurtful. I definitely got a little more Botox that week. But everyone thought that. And I just like, or like pregnancy scandals or like rumors, I should say, or like just shit where it's just like so fucking not true. And it's funny, but at the same time, like I love a little free press moment, you know? Like I was like, okay, I'm 30, fuck yeah, buy my merch. Like, you know, it's like, they're funny and there's ones where it's like, okay, that's not true at all. But I mean, I'm just very weird like that. Like everything happens for a reason. Like I believe it though. Like I think that all of my main scandals, there are definitely ones where I didn't do the things that people thought though. And they were, and it was hard to think like everyone thinks I'm this type of person or I have a heart filled with hatred or like actual shitty ones where it's like that is just not who I am at all. But at the same time, I still can look back and say like those times taught me things and about this whole world and how to be and how to grow and you know, maybe I just need to be humbled.
How do you crawl back from a scandal like after you went through it and like you come back to the world, you're just like,
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Hello, everyone.
By the grace of fucking God, for real.
Did you get to a point where you're just like, okay, I can't be canceled at this point? Because you've gone through a lot.
I think that when I started this, like all of this, canceled culture was like not a thing. Like when I posted my first video, being canceled was like not a fucking thing. And so I remember the first time I got canceled, I was like, this is the end of the world. I need to look at strip clubs near me. I'm about to be working at like Cane's, like serving a cognac, and there's nothing wrong with that, honestly. It sounds amazing right now. But where I thought everything was over. And over time, I kind of realized that we were entering a canceled culture where people do have a little more appreciation for people to say they fucked up and grow. And people will still like that. I think that I've just always been pretty real and honest, I guess. Whenever I'm like in trouble for something, it's like either, hey, I didn't do this, but I'm sorry it could have been perceived that way or whatever, or I did this and I'm sorry and
it's a lot of pressure.
Grow. And
I think there's a lot of pressure on your mental health going through all that stuff.
It definitely...
It's like thinking about it, like if the world is thinking all this stuff, you're like, okay, where do I begin?
And it can make you such a paranoid person. Like everything you do and say, you're like, don't cancel me. Oh my God, don't post that. I'm gonna like, you have to like find a medium. Because there have been times in my life where I'm fucking terrified of everything. And like, it's just like, that can't happen. Like so on and so forth. But
you're I like, what is the video you just took at me? Give me your phone. Let me look at it. Like, it's a lot.
For sure. It's fucking terrifying. I guess I just like, I'm grateful to have fans that have always like known me for who I am. So at least they would
grew
know,
up with you.
At least if I'm saying like I've grown, they know I'm being honest. Or at least if I say I fucked up, like they know. And I'm lucky to have that bond with them. And maybe that's like why I'm able to be like a cockroach who doesn't fully die and get canceled.
Which is great though. It's a good thing though, because at this point in life, it's like to say you could be canceled and everyone just doesn't. It's just weird.
And there are certain things.
People, obviously, if people don't actually take initiative and like talk about any part of it that they feel like they did, but like if you're actually feeling apologetic, like if anyone else's life was on camera all the time or in the public, it's like you're bound to do stuff. We're all learning and growing and becoming,
for sure,
you know.
And people have more of an attachment, I think, to people who are like polarizing. Like I will always say, I'm like the biggest Logan Paul fan. I fucking love him so much. I'm literally like, even if I never knew him, I would be like a fan. And Logan's story is so cool. Like he's done fucking terrible, fucked up shit and been like, okay, let's break it down. Here's why I did this. I'm gonna grow up as a person, and people like to watch that. At least I do. I like to watch the character arc of someone grow and change, and to me it's a little more interesting than a fully cookie cutter story. At least,
that's so true.
You know,
because you're actually like showing your whole entire like journey of you becoming who you are
for sure,
to the public, and then having everyone critique how you grow.
Exactly, which is it is crazy for your mental health. Like,
it's a lot.
Because you're
like, am I doing the right thing now with this part of my life? Like, am I thinking the right way?
Exactly.
Like, so many people are gonna critique it.
And I know I'm gonna look back in 4 years and be like, I didn't know anything. But I didn't know that growing up. When you're 18, 19, 20, 21, you think you have your whole world figured out. Like, I remember just being like 20 and being like, I have everything figured out.
Yeah.
And like, I had nothing fucking figured out. And I can look back now and be like, yeah, because you were growing up on camera. Yeah. Like, if I thought from the way I was raised and the life I had, if I'm gonna put a camera in front of my fucking face and just grow up, like that was gonna be a perfect journey, like, hell no, and now I can like look at that and know that,
That made me think, like, when you were 20, what were you doing in your life? Because that's so young, but I feel like you were already so like known.
I had my home in Sherman Oaks. I was living in the Valley forever. Reality television was just like a normal thing I was doing all the time.
That was when you had your own show?
Yeah.
Damn.
And I was like vlogging like every fucking day, all of my life. I would just like film and come home and edit and start over and do it. And in a lot of ways, it was like a lot more fun because that was kind of my main focus, was just that. Now I have to like worry about big girl things.
Yeah.
But I thought I had everything fucking figured out. I really did, I was like, I've had my scandals and now I'm in my grown. No, you're about to burn out so hard, Tana.
Yeah. Have you always liked stirring the pot?
Yes. So fucking bad. Like, I'm so bad about this. Like, to this day, I don't need a Twitter. Like, I don't need a Twitter at all because it's just like this fun little app where I can stir the pot whenever I want and just put shit out into the world. It's bad. I hate it. I hate that. Even just in my friend group, like if two people are like fighting in my friend group, I'm like, guys, what's wrong? Like, I love, it excites me and I hate it. And I know now how to control it and dial back and like shut the fuck up. Yeah. But I was looking at my TikTok posts in like 2021 and 2022. Yeah. Like the other day I was going through them all and I would just be on TikTok like, here's why I hate this motherfucker. Like, and I would just go in, like I would say anything that was on my mind and like, I respect that. It's, good. She was in her hustling era and that's why I'm canceled and crazy and whatever. But my impulsivity level was through the roof for a really long time because I say what's on my mind, and I forget that it's to millions of people. And now I know how to.
Is it awkward when you see those people?
That's the other issue. Like, not for me. Like, that really is. I was talking about this with Jeff when we just went to Lele Pons' wedding. Yeah. And it's so funny because we sit at his house and we're like podcasting, like talking shit on people. And then we'll like show up to this wedding and hella people that we've talked all this shit about are there. And we're like, hey guys, how are you? Like, I would hate me. And it is like, rogue. Like, I forget sometimes. Like, this person that you're saying this about is going to see this. And even we just shot the pilot for season 2 of Canceled Coming Back, Brooke and I. Cool. And I was like, I'm getting blocked by 5 people the second this goes out, like, to the world.
That's going to be so juicy.
That's the problem. I still struggle with that, like, and maybe it's just who I am.
Yeah, it's like a part of your brand though.
I just say what's on my mind.
Call it out.
And sometimes I just shouldn't say what's on my mind, but.
Yeah, so tell us about your podcast coming out. You obviously have some crazy things you're going to talk about.
I'm just so excited. Yeah. Like, I love podcasting. That's why in the time that we were kind of giving Canceled a revamp, I went on every single podcast under the sun for the past few months. And it's been so fun, but it's literally to like fill the void because I miss it. Yeah. And obviously, like having your own situation versus going on other people's is very different. Yeah. Like, I miss having a place to like air out my weird shower thoughts and just have control of the edit. When you go on someone else's, it's like it's scarier to say some crazy ass shit because you don't know what's going to happen in post. Yeah. So kind of knowing that I can say whatever the fuck I want and cut it,
place.
Like, just creates for such a rogue situation. We're shooting an episode today and I know I'm about to. I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say about a lot of people.
I'm so excited to listen to it.
And Brooke is the same way, which is awesome to have someone that you work with that's like, as an idea of like having so many canceled guests on. Yeah. And then I kind of think we both slowly realized like this shit is called Canceled because we are canceling ourselves because we can't shut the fuck up, And we do have some guests coming on that have been canceled in life or recently or some people that are maybe looking to get canceled. Yeah. But I think that we just have so much fun, us two.
Yeah. I was just thinking it's such a cool thing to really think about that we talked about. I feel that like being canceled is just really the fact that we're all living and going through situations where we actually like maybe did fuck up, and that happens to everyone. The only difference is yours are being seen by like a magnifying glass. So like canceled is just people living their lives and doing something that might have not been the best and like, learning from their situations, which is kind of crazy.
If I worked a 9 to 5, I'd be getting canceled in the office every week, probably for something I said or did or whatever. And that is the vibes. And I think that's why we named it. We just wanted to play into canceled culture,
which is cool.
And just talk. I've always loved pop culture and like just discussing who's getting canceled and what's happening.
What's going on? What's
Not
the tea?
that I should be able to give an opinion on any of that, but it's just fun.
When you go out and you're around a lot of talent and you see a lot of shit, do they feel like, oh my God, are you gonna say something?
It is funny. Like Brooke and I both deal with that, especially with like a guy. Like you're dating a guy who's like does shit in this world. He's like. Taylor Swift said, like one time she was like, if you don't want me to write mean songs about you, don't do mean shit. Or if you don't want me to write bad songs about you, don't do bad shit. Yeah. And to an extent, that is kind of my attitude towards everyone. Like obviously, I'm not a piece of shit. Like if someone has a secret and they don't fucking I know it's a secret. I'm not gonna air, if I don't like them or I don't respect them, maybe I will. But like, there has to be a line. I don't ever want to be that person that people can't feel like comfortable around because they think I'm just gonna like start recording them. Yeah. Because that's not it at all. But
no, but it's cool. You've said some stuff that I'm like, everyone has seen it, but no one said it.
For sure. For fucking sure.
No one's brave enough to say it a lot of times. You're like, okay, I'm saying some shit.
There was a point where I was like on the last episode or last season of Canceled, I was like talking about one of the like TikTok parents out there.
I remember that's what I was just thinking about because I've even seen it out.
Yeah, like just doing drugs and being rogue and whatever. And it's like, that was one of those things where it's like, I don't like you. I think you're an awful parent. I think it's embarrassing as fuck when these parents have their child stars and they just like milk it and suck it dry and use it for their own gain. And then that was one of those things where it's like, no one else is going to say this, but I will. Like, you know, that's where you have to let morals kind of play into things that you say. But that was one of the ones where I was like...
Yeah, it's because like so many other influencers were seeing that and not saying shit.
Yeah, and it's like
they were all thinking about it, talking about it to each other, but no one actually like, called it out. So when you did, it's just like I was like I know exactly who you're talking about. I was
getting messages for fucking 6 months of people like, thank God someone said it. I like to be that person when I can, when it's right, when it's not, you know, when I'm not a dick for it.
Yeah, that's crazy. When you have trolls like trolling you, or a bad article comes out, what are your coping skills?
Double down, talk about it more. No,
ride the wave.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people hate the ugly side of it all, that people see all sides of you. And you like, I would love to just be this perfect little hot girl all the time. Yeah. But I like, today I was on, an account, like a fan account's Instagram story. And there's this clip of me that like went viral so long ago. Like, from a vlog of mine right after I got veneers, where my whole face is huge, swollen.
You would film yourself.
Like I would, right? And it's like, I look like a fucking Who from Whoville. Like I look fucking batshit swollen and I like sit up and I'm like dying. And this clip like went viral. And today I was literally like looking at that being like, I'm gonna be on my deathbed and I'm gonna see this video of myself like at all times. Like some things just never die, you know? Like, and the first like 4 or 5 years of my career, I think you don't really realize people like you put something on the internet and it's gonna live there forever. And like, you're just like, yeah, fuck that. Okay, cool. Like awesome. But like, that's a real thing. Yeah. And I'm still not stopping. I'm still just showing fucking absolutely everything. So I don't know. And I mean, when it like we were talking about earlier with the trolls of it all, I will always take serious criticism seriously. Yeah. But when people are just trolling to troll, I think it's fucking hilarious. Yeah. And I think it almost it's like a tool for more creativity for me. Like I want to fuck with the trolls back and make jokes, and I'm kind of grateful for them. So shout out, y'all. Like I will say some of the bad press taught me a lot of shit. But there's funny moments where you can lean into that and laugh. Like a year and a half ago, 2 years, I had that video of me saying Team Bryce on God go like so viral on TikTok of me just being like super embarrassing and corny and whatever. And it's like, I don't know why I keep referencing Harry Jowsey, but like he really does just get it, like honestly. And he does.
It's funny because when I've gotten close with Harry now, you guys have a lot of the same similarities on like keeping attention on you.
And
you guys are good at it.
I'm always saying some like vile shit about Harry on a podcast, so this makes up for all of it, honestly, Harry. But
you guys just laugh at it though. At the end of the day, like you get it.
He called me when the Team Bryce on God thing was going viral. He was like, "How do I get a moment like this? Like, what do I do?" I was like, "I don't know. Just go be embarrassing on camera until something happens." And I could look. That was one of the moments where it was like, yes, this is a video of me being embarrassing, going viral, but I can look at this as like all press is good press.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna do my best to capitalize on this and just keep it pushing, So there are moments where I can agree that, some bad press could be
good,
utilized in a good way. But there are definitely things where it's like, a worldwide scandal. You're not like, God, this is amazing. I'm on Daily Mail right now. You're like, oh, I'm a mess. But it is what it is. It comes with it,
Dude, I went through it when I had with Unruly. Mm-hmm. I like had, people coming after us in the press for just stupid shit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God. When it first happened to me, I got so like depressed.
Yeah.
Cried. And then I was like, wow, I have so much respect for celebrities. It made me be like, wow.
It is, because if you let that shit really get to heart, like it's scary. You have to kind of just take it for what it is and create a game plan and move on. But it is like,
it's hard because you're like, do people think these things of us? You're like, you want to change everyone's opinions, but then you're like, you can't win.
And you feel like I've had so many moments where I'm like having a scandal or something's happening in the press or whatever, where you like walk into a room full of people and you're just like, everyone thinks this of me.
Yeah.
Like it like skews your perception of yourself because you're like, is everyone thinking that I'm just like this one thing? But with the Unruly thing, I will say you guys definitely had a lot of eyeballs on you or people plotting on you because you were the most successful in your space. And I've had people try to do that too, where I see press and I'm like, I know exactly who got this article written because they don't fuck with me. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Or I know exactly who hates me and wants to take me down and this has this written all over it.
Exactly.
And it is, the whole PR machine is just,
wild.
It's dark. That is a dark part. That's where like, you can see where people say Hollywood is like some Illuminati shit in that regard of like the way that the press machine works and the way that the press machine can put everyone's eyes on one thing or off of one thing, or if you're on the bad side of that, what's going to happen to you? Or if you're on the good side of that, what's going to happen to you? And it's like this whole chess game that you have to constantly be playing. And that is a really weird, dark side of this shit. It's not just like butterflies and rainbows.
And one of the things I always thought too that I don't think a lot of people realize is like, these reporters and people, they're trying to create as dramatic of a scenario as possible because they get better with the publisher when their articles get the most clicks, right?
Absolutely.
So the craziest headlines, like how can I make this look crazier? Like they're really trying to make it look like a whole thing because that's how articles do better.
100%.
So people don't remember that like their whole goal is to make this shit look insane.
Oh yeah, and we all fall like victim to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
oh my God. And
like this is exactly like it's, oh my God, absolutely. I could like trip and fall like outside and there's gonna be an article that's like Tana Mongeau knocks down toddler because she hates babies. Like, you know what I like, they're just, people take it, so, I don't know why that's what came from my brain, but it's like they're just gonna take some shit and roll with it, and but now again I can laugh at that shit.
I feel like that one part needs to be a clip.
Like
for
Tana Mongeau hates babies.
For the promotion of the show, they're like, what?
It's just so real. And now I can laugh at it, you know what I mean, to an extent, but it is so fucking
It's hard
real.
when you first go through it. Yeah. You're like, oh, wow.
Do I hate babies?
Do I? You have been publicly taken advantage of with your friendships, business relationships. Is there anything that stands out to you?
Paige off camera laughing so much. Like where I call you and I'm like, you will never believe who did this. And you've always had my back. Yeah. And I think until the day I die, I would put you on that list, like fucking up there. You. Like even just the other night we had dinner and I was talking to you about some business shit I needed to figure the fuck out because you know.
You come first to me always.
And you're
like,
so...
I've just seen you go through a lot and I was going to say, even the first time I saw you go through something, then I saw what the internet was saying, and I'm like, they're so wrong.
I love you.
I was like, that's so not true. But I was like, you have to just deal with it.
That's a hard part about it is like, I've learned that as well. Yeah. More in the beginning, I was just like, if you try to spend your life convincing everyone, that is a dark side of fame that people get so caught up in, I will say, is it's like, I'm not this and I want to, like, I saw a YouTube video the other day that was like, I had just said on a podcast that James Charles and I have publicly not been friends for a really long time. Wow. And that I was saying that I saw him and we had like a nice civil interaction and it was like good, and I'm going to try to stop saying awful things on the internet and whatever. And I saw this Drama Channel video that was like, they're friends again, like da-da-da-da. And all the comments were like, she's just a friend to all is a friend to none. She's just like a fucking sheep. She's this, she's that. Like, she can't, like, whatever. And I'm like, no, that's a normal life thing to have ongoing beef with someone and then just be like, listen, I don't want to put forth my energy towards this anymore. I'm going to grow. Normal. And it, like, I wanted to sit there and respond to 1,000 fucking comments.
You're like, no, we talked about this. And
and it's just like, you can't. But you definitely know that business-wise, like, again, I accredit a lot of that to what I was saying earlier, where it's like I started this in a space where even managers were trying to figure out how the fuck do we manage digital talent?
Exactly.
Or brands are like, how, trying to figure out what a branded integration with digital talent looks like.
And I even think like you're such a huge business that like you have, like people don't realize that you're such a huge business. So like people are like living their lives off you. Yeah. And so sometimes that could be great, but sometimes it could be unhealthy in certain relationships. And I think you've been in a place where you're like, oh fuck, this is like not the most
I think
best situation.
In 2020, like when I was living in that house in Hollywood Hills and I had my like 9 roommates and I was living out the full content home, 800 employee, like fantasy. That was the first time where I really like, I would go to bed and be like, this is so crazy. The weight of the amount of people that I'm food to mouthing right now, like is crazy. It definitely like really reframed my perspective on that.
And sometimes it can be toxic.
And I had to, I definitely did have a lot of people looking at me like a dollar sign and a signed check. And you obviously saw a lot of the negative sides of that, like when I would come to you and talk to you about that and shit like that. I wouldn't change it though, because now I know. Like now
you know what to look out for.
And obviously the people who just come into this space and have a lot more guidance are much luckier in that regard. Yeah. But now I'm so good at like weeding it out. It's me and Paige against the world, and then we have we have people that we hire on and stuff, but she is like my brain in another person, a way better version of it too. Yeah. So we can kind of be like, okay, is this person providing value? Are they worth this, whatever we're paying them, or, is this person good at their job? Are they helping me, and so on? So like now I finally can just know off bat because of all of the experiences, but it is a scary thing. I think from 17 to 22, I was, that whole 5 years was like very much like a lot of people taking advantage of me and me needing help and that whole thing, But now it's like, it is what it is, and I know that's what Hollywood is. And obviously I can look back at people that I had on like payroll that were just like sucking me dry, that I'm like, fuck you. Yeah. But I've grown a lot, and it is what it is.
Yeah. It's a hard part about doing business in this world.
For sure.
You're a literal business.
For sure. And that's the thing that's like kind of scary when your business is like being you and yourself, and so many people do just look at you as like a number. And
it's crazy.
Yeah, it can fuck with your head for sure. It makes your trust issues a little wild, like anytime anyone comes in, I'm like, what do you want? But
that was another thing I was going to say is you get pitched a million opportunities a day. Mm-hmm. You have so many people that want to work with you. Mm-hmm. So I feel like how do you go about that?
Oh yeah, it's wild. Just the amount of texts that you get, like, Tana, I have a huge opportunity for you. And you're just like, this is actually a huge opportunity for you, but slay, like for sure, where it's like a whole thing. But again, that I think just years of kind of knowing what works and knowing what doesn't, and knowing what I'm good at. And even you and I will have moments where I'm just like, are you sure you're usually right though. You're always right. But I'm like, are we sure I'm going to be good at this? Now it's like, I just go with my gut. Like if I just feel like some shit isn't
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty spot on of what I know I can do and what I know I can sell. I've had managers and people just in my world where it's like they're now if someone brings me some shit, I'm just like, no. And they're like, but I think you having a fucking lollipop brand would be the next biggest thing. I'm like, no one's buying that. Like no one, like now I'm very like, as much as I hate, a lot of people probably hate it, but I'm very fucking brutally honest. So I was like, listen, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah, that's good.
And I learned that there's a whole consulting world of the business as well, which I wish I was bigger and better at for years, but now it's like, I'm friends with so many people in this space that it's awesome because I can be like, listen, I don't want to do this, but I think so-and-so would be perfect for it. Give me 5%.
Cool.
And
that's what managers do. A lot of people do that. So that's a good, your network is everything.
Now that I can do shit like that, I love it. I'm like, pitch me everything because I'll find a way to make this work and monetizable, but it just might not be my face, you know?
Proud of you.
Thank you.
That's really smart. What do you think 6-year-old Tana is going to look like? Are you going to be in the spotlight forever?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I have a tattoo on my ass that says Young AF. So hopefully that's lasered off when I'm 60. But I have no idea. Like, hopefully, I saw this psychic that like got everything right about my life. Like they predicted all the shit that ended up happening. And I mean like wild fucking like to a T shit, you know? Wow. And this was a while ago. And they were like, and every psychic I see is like, you're going to be famous forever. And I'm like, really? Like, I think I would keep doing this shit if it fit. I never want to be like, you know, I hope I'm not on OnlyFans at 60, but maybe I want to be. Maybe there's a market for that and I want to be. I can't think too much about it, but I hope I'm not just like chasing after something that once was. I hope that I'm doing different things. Maybe I'm an author. Maybe I'm a host. Maybe I'm, you know what I mean? Maybe
you're like, as long as I'm enjoying it.
Managing my child. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm kidding. But like, I would sincerely.
You're Kris
like,
Jenner.
People always ask me like, what's 5 years from now? And I swear to God, I know it's so corny, but I hope I'm just like fucking happy. I hope I'm just happy doing whatever it is that I love. And I know that's going to change. And hopefully by 60, hopefully I'm like married with some kids or something, you know. But
that was what I was going to ask you. Do you want kids?
I want 30,000 kids, but I will never be pregnant and give birth.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I just can't.
If I like sneeze, I have like a whole mental existential crisis where I'm like, do I have nose cancer? Like I could not imagine something growing inside me. I think I just I'm such a spiraler. Like I would just freak the fuck out over, I think it would be the most like painstaking 9 months of my life. Yeah. So I love Angelina Jolie's like journey. I want to adopt 1 million kids or like maybe a surrogate. I don't know, but definitely a lot of kids. But all that.
I know, same. I'm like, I don't know if I can actually have a kid.
It's
the process.
Being pregnant terrifies the shit out of me.
Would you keep your child out of the spotlight?
I would let them do whatever they wanted to do.
Love that.
I would never, and I say this a lot, but I sincerely think stage parents, stage mom, stage dad, that force their kids to do this shit is like the ugliest thing in the world. It is like, it is absolutely a direct correlation, in my opinion, to robbing a child of their childhood, forcing them to do this shit, unless that's what they want. If they're, you know, if they want to be an actor and whatever, maybe they want to be when they're young and then they change their mind and whatever. Like, I definitely just always want to be the type of parent that's like accepting and guiding and, you know, but I would never force that ever, you know?
It's funny because I remember growing up and people would always be like, oh, if you're playing video games, you're going to be such a loser. And then there's like video game stars that are now making more money than anyone. And so a lot of times I'll hear parents be like, oh, I don't let my kid have like a TikTok or Instagram or have any social media or go on their phone. But I was like, is that a good thing? Because we're growing up in a world where like everyone's golfing and learning so much. Absolutely. Like already now, imagine like the kids are going to know so much about the internet. But I was like, how are you going to make money in the future is going to be so wrapped up in that. So
sheltering, you know, your kids, I just know I'll never be like a shelter type of parent. Yeah. Like I would so much rather be like, this is the real world and here are some tools to handle it versus like there is no real world. Like you live in cotton candy la la land. Like that shit scares the shit out of me. Like I was watching the SpongeBob movie the other day and I somehow got into a conversation of like how there are like so many parents who like never let their kids watch SpongeBob because it was like a little too like there's like violence or it was like rogue or like whatever. And I'm like, those are the people now that are just like unfunny as fuck. And they don't get it at all. They were sheltered from the world. Like I don't want that. I don't know. That shit just freaks me out.
It's probably been interesting for you in your dating life, I would imagine. How is it dating in the public eye?
Dating in the public eye is, for a while, I think that I realized in my whole like remaining relevant era that is a very easy way to remain relevant. And I'll never date someone I fucking hate for clicks and views and shit, because that's awful. But if you like someone and they like you and people like to see you guys together, it is a slippery fucking slope of putting a whole relationship out there and doing all that type of stuff. And it's scary as well, like dating anyone and being like thinking to yourself, like, what are your intentions with being with me? Do you actually like me for me, or do you like what being with me like provides for you, whether that's lifestyle or fame or money or whatever it may be? And I think I've definitely dated, as Paris Hilton would say, some hungry tigers, some people who did not have my best interest in mind. And it was wild. This past year, I like wrote it off completely. I was like, I'm never dating someone with fame ever again. And I dated a guy who owned a clothing brand, and I just dated a guy who does like real estate. We just broke up. So I'm in my newly single era. And
how was it like? Was it very different?
It was so different and awesome. It's awesome to be with someone who like genuinely doesn't give a fuck about like what you do. And like my last boyfriend like didn't even have the TikTok app downloaded, like doesn't use his Instagram, like didn't care at all. And I was like, this is so sick, because you like me for me. But it's also hard because I love to be with someone. My love language to the core is understanding. Like if I love feeling understood by someone.
Wow, that's mine.
It's, you know what I mean?
I get so upset if someone doesn't understand me.
100%, so do I. And then I like break down. I'm like, I'm dating someone who doesn't even know me, and I like lose my mind. So I think there's like a balance. Like one, you know what I mean? One provides so much understanding, but maybe some bad things. And one is like all these good things, but they don't necessarily understand you.
Yeah.
So now I'm like flip-flopping back and forth into like, what do I want to do? You know what I mean? I'm in my like seriously, I want to be single era. I'm such a serial dater. Like I feel like I always fucking have a boyfriend, or I'm always like talking to someone and whatever. And I'm trying so hard right now to like
feel comfortable being lonely.
Absolutely.
It's a hard feeling.
Exactly. Like, and it's like, oh my God, but being lonely is so good too. Like just getting in your bed and being fugly and like fucking watching what you want to watch and like eating off your chest. Is awesome. And like just spending all of your time like focused on your own shit. But it's, oh my God, even right now I'm like trying so hard. Like if I hook up with someone, I'm like, stay away. Like no, which is scary. But I don't know. I just, now I'm just looking for balance. If I date someone in the public eye, I want to make sure they love me for me.
Yeah.
But I'm not fully against it.
I feel like that's such a weird feeling to be like, okay, we're blowing up on social together. Everyone likes us together. Like, is this real? I feel like that's,
and you'll stay in some shit way longer because you'll convince yourself like, if everyone loves this, why don't I? You know, and like it can like really fuck with your head so hard. You know,
have you seen a lot of couples like that you're like, I know this relationship is for the.
Oh my God, absolutely. I can't even deal. It's crazy. And the PR machine is crazy too, where you just see these couples and you're like, I know these two people have nothing to talk about and they are so unhappy, but they're getting the shots and it's doing the damn thing and the whole nine. And that's always scared me. I have to like someone like as a human, but it is just scary too, you know, like when people love that. It's like, let's say you get in a big ass fight with your significant other, but you guys are like vlogging your life or something. You're going to want to wake up the next day and be like, good morning to our perfect day in the life where we're so in love. And it's like, that's scary too, to like fall into those traps, and it's a whole fucking thing. I don't know.
What do you feel like there's some red flags you've noticed where you're like, you can tell if a guy's like liking you for the wrong reasons?
Oh my God. All of it like is crazy to me. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? An opportunist who's like, I'm trying to like put this into words, but it's like, you can tell that person isn't necessarily stoked to go do some shit with you where there's no eyes on you. You know, it's like, I want to go to Coachella with you, but I don't want to go grocery shopping with you. You know what I mean? Like when you can just kind of see what someone's interests are. I think I just noticed.
Like, what's going on?
I'm like too hyper aware of it now.
Yeah.
Like even if I just like, let's say I'm dating someone and a photo of us gets posted and they like gain 10 followers because people like found them.
Yeah.
Like seeing someone's reaction to that will always be very telling for me. And if you can see that as things like that happen, they're like more and more into the
taking more photos.
Yeah, and the relationship of it all. Like I'm so hyper aware of it now that I'll be like, it'll just give me the ick, and I go running for the hills because it's just like so not my thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like and I know that I live a very exciting lifestyle, and I love that, and I love that for my friends and I think it's so fun.
Yeah.
But you can tell when someone is way more excited to be dating the lifestyle than dating you as a person, you know?
Crazy.
And it's like, I'm out every time now, for sure. Unless they're like really hot, maybe I'll stay for like a week, but, you know.
How do these like arrangements work between couples dating for press, for public? Like, is there ever any like actual contracts involved?
I've never been like that, and I never will, but I've been in this world, and I've had that happen too, you know, where certain managers, like other talent managers that don't manage me, will be like, I have the business opportunity of a lifetime for you, and I'll like sit down and they'll be like, okay, so you're gonna date this person, and I'm like, girl, the fuck do you think this shit is? Like, it's so real. Are you kidding me? The other night, we were at dinner, you and I.
Yeah.
And let me tread lightly. I saw this couple at dinner.
Very famous couple right now.
And we were walking out of dinner, and I have admitted a million times that I would say, and I say this for all of Hollywood, that 40% of the paparazzi photos you see are like contrived, and they called them, or a PR agency tipped them off, and the other 60% I think are genuine. And that's, at least for me, that's how it's been. And I see it, and I know so many people, I've been close to so many people in this world that I could venture to say that I think that is like a pretty general opinion of what's going on. I think it's like a cool 60-40 where people are setting up shit and people aren't. And with that being said, I know a lot of the paparazzis out here. They're like my homies, whether I've called them for some shit I needed them for or whatever, or they started taking photos of me and I'd be tagged in their shit and I'd follow. And like, you know what I mean? Like, just, I kind of know what's happening in that world. And I walked out of dinner the other night and there was a paparazzi out there, and he was like, he took my photo and stuff, but I know him really well. And him and I were actually like pretty good friends for a while, because I love the paparazzis because they have all the fucking tea. Whoever they like hate is like, it's just so juicy, because if they're like, so-and-so's an awful fucking person, like,
that's crazy.
They know a lot of things.
Yeah, they do know a lot.
And I love to stir the pot, and I love the tea. So I'm always like, hey, like, what's tea, sis? Like, I love to know. And I saw this paparazzi and I know him, and I would say I put him in the 40%. Like, he is the type of paparazzi that is like, he's not just out on the streets looking for people, he's getting called by the agencies like 90% of the time, and he makes big bank doing that, you know what I mean? But if I see him somewhere, I can venture to say that I know that he was told to be there. And I just like laughed my little walk to the car, because I was like, I know this couple that I just saw inside like definitely called him. And I was just like laughing. And it's like,
you could also tell, I was talking to one of my PR girls, she's like, you can also tell based off where they're eating or where they are. Because like, you can tell if it's set up a little more, because if they're going to places that there's always paparazzi outside, like, okay, let's go to Catch Steak. Like, and there's paparazzi outside every time.
It's a breeding ground for clout. And I that's another thing to like revisit your last question, that it's like, if a guy is like, let's go to dinner, let's go to Catch, like, a part of me will always be like, do you really like their sushi rolls, or do you really like go to men with cameras outside? Like, you know, it's like, it's such a thing. So I mean, I think Hollywood is filled with fucking contrived ass, completely fake relationships of people who hate each other.
You know, it's fucking crazy.
It is what it is.
But it makes them money at the end of the day. It's a business.
And, you know, sometimes, you know, maybe, I'm sure there are some stories of people who have fallen madly, deeply in love, and it started like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, to each is their own.
Yeah. Who is the biggest clout chaser in Hollywood?
I'm like, you're looking at her. That's so hard. That's so hard. Because there's a lot of them, and I will never.
There's a lot.
I will never say shit. There are people who take it too far, and I know that's like coming from the fucking horse's mouth. Like, who the fuck am I to say people take it too far? But, you know, there's a lot of just people that I know when I see them, it's gonna be, hi, how are you? Can we take a photo immediately? Because they want that shit for their shit, you know? And people who just like, oh, there's this girl that I just see at every single party. And I know that every single time I see her, there's gonna be like a grid post of us being like best friends the next day. And we're like not even close like that. And it's just funny.
That's hilarious.
That I was talking about the other day. But I mean, I just, that's the pot calling the kettle black, I think. I do it strategically and for my job, and there is a very real side to me. And I think for me, that's all it is it's like, if I can see you doing it and respect that you're doing it for your job, and then I know that you're a real person underneath that, awesome. If you actually let your whole world revolve around that and you become a fucking awful person because of it, that is the worst. And it sucks. And it's like, but I think if people are staying true to who they are and they're a decent person and they're out here getting theirs.
Okay, so we won't call out anyone today.
I won't say anyone's names because who the fuck am I to do that? There.
What's the most money you've ever spent on a gift?
On a gift? I thought I was David Dobrik for like 6 months, and I was like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. I have no idea why. I don't even drive. I don't have a car. Like, why the fuck am I buying everyone cars left and right? Like, that's just, it's ridiculous. It really is, looking back. Like, now all the people that I got cars are gonna be like, you fucking bitch. But like,
the fact that you even got someone a car is insane.
I mean,
so that's probably the wildest one, right?
I would say probably cars.
You've also gotten like all your friends like trips and jets.
Trips, the jets, things like that. I don't necessarily always look at those as gifts because it's like I wanted to go on the jet, so it's like, you know what I mean.
Y'all can come.
Amari, my best friend.
But you're like a sugar daddy.
For sure. Fucking for sure. Like, but it's so fun. Like that for me, like, I love to be generous. I love to give people things with nothing in return. I love to share what I have. Yeah. Like, it's the best feeling to a fault. Like, the other day I was looking at Amari and he's like walking out with this iced out Rolex on his wrist. And I was like, why wouldn't I just buy that for myself? Like, I want that. Like, why should I buy that? But it's so fun. And I wouldn't take any of it back. So I guess cars and crazy shit for sure.
That's so cute though.
It's fun.
I love that. Have you ever had situations where people treat you like a bank, but yes, you already said you did. Oh my God, yeah,
Bank of Tana. I make jokes all the time. Even just to my close friends, they'll be like, we should go here. And I'm like, you mean Tana should figure out how to go here? Because you want to go. And I'll be like, shut the fuck up. Like, but, you know.
Okay, let's talk about all your businesses that get you to the place you are now.
Ooh.
All your money. Okay, so you've obviously unlocked this fame, and with that has so many eyeballs on you. So you've been able to create companies like Dizzy, Tannabis, your podcast. Mm-hmm. Tell us about them.
I wish if I could go back and tell myself one thing business-wise, well, there's a fucking lot of things actually, but that wasn't a thing either.
Yeah.
Like, now it's like even like Josh Richards, how like he'd been blown up for like a year and a half, and him and Bryce were like, let's start Ani Energy. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just like people are teaching you that now, and you see it, so you're smarter to do it. Like,
yeah, that's so true.
The ceiling for me in the beginning was like a Fashion Nova contract. You know, that was your business. Like it wasn't like, okay, you've blown up, start a business. And I wish at the time I had known that and been able to do that a million times over. Yeah. I was definitely late to that game.
Yeah. Well, because it was hard to know that you can create your own company instead of promoting all these brands.
You were definitely told that you can't too. You know, it was like, you're going to spend way more time doing this and have way worse profit margins than if you just do a collab with an already successful brand and whatever. That was kind of the like mindset behind that realm for like a long time, and now I know that's like the furthest thing from the truth. And now I'm in my business era, and I've been very lucky with like Dizzy and Tannabis and stuff like that. It's so on brand for me. The only things to have had really are, we tried lingerie and some other shit, but it didn't really stick. But our weed and alcohol, of course.
Like, it just fits,
like,
you know.
It's just, I mean, well, it was just like at that time I felt like I was really in my party girl era, and I was always being seen out, and I was so wild, and it was like, well, how can I incorporate that into a business?
Yeah.
And right now we are putting everything into Tannabis, and I'm so excited to have a weed storefront and do all that, and it's gonna be
cool.
It's gonna be so fucking fun, and I'm stoked. But I am, now that I've kind of been on my 75 hard journey, I'm excited for what's next to come. And I know I'm spending a lot of this year focusing on podcasting, so I don't know how much, unless something perfect falls into my lap.
Podcast is a business.
It is a business.
It's like a full-on thing.
It's a huge fucking, canceled will be like, I know I'll probably end this year being like, that was my breadwinner business.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to eventually enter a wholesome market. Like, I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's clothes or it's skincare or it's home or it's literally, maybe it's an app. I have no fucking clue yet. I'm in that phase right now where we just, Paige and I are kind of discussing that every day. Like, what are we going to do? What do we want to do?
Yeah.
In the future, but right now I am just
and also
focused.
just letting it come to you too, because you are doing a lot of shit.
For sure, and that's the thing is, I don't want to spread myself too thin. Right now I'm focused on Tannabis and the podcast.
And if you keep growing you have that opportunity forever.
Which is cool.
I remember I talked to like one of my friends, he's super successful with the watches. Okay. And he sold it to Movado and he made like some crazy amount of money. Mm-hmm. And to the point where he never has to work again. And what he told me, and live a lavish lifestyle. So he told me, he's like, one of the best advice like I can ever give you is just focus on like what you're good at and stop and don't try to take on everything. He's like, because the moment everyone was like, oh, you should also do jewelry. And then I tried to do jewelry or I tried to do sunglasses. He's like, I kept seeing I wasn't as successful as I was when I did just the watches.
Oh, for sure.
So he's like, what opportunity do you have right now that you can't do later? 100%. He's like, if you grew like more successful, you always get more.
100%.
Like if you just focus on the things you're good at and maybe you don't have something right now, but like you're always going to get more and more and more. You can revisit that thing later. So it's just crazy. I was like, that's true. Sometimes like slowing down.
When I was saying to you, like spreading yourself too thin was like one of my biggest like L's for so long. Like that's really where I'm at. I'm like, when I know something will work, like we were talking about a lot, I do feel like now my gut is pretty there. Yeah. Like if I started a blank business, I will know immediately. I feel like if I can make that work or if I can't.
Yeah.
So when something comes, then it's like, fuck yeah. That was like with Dizzy, it was like just such a no-brainer. Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at now. Yeah. You know?
Well, you have a really successful OnlyFans business. You're one of the top creators on OnlyFans, the most followers. What can people expect from your OnlyFans, and why do you like this platform?
I just asked you to tell them. No, you've been there from the jump. You are the reason I started in OnlyFans.
But you're perfect for the platform because you have so many different sides of you.
I actually, I'm so grateful that I started when it was like a lot more taboo and crazy. I was just, at the time that we started it, I was dating this guy, and he was like, you can't do this. You like my girlfriend's gonna do porn. Like, what's up with that? Like, what do you mean? And it was kind of one of the main reasons we broke up, because I was like, I'm really, really sorry, but I have to marry the bag right now and not you. And I like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was talking to him recently, and now he'll just make like jokes about it. Like, it's like, because it's become so societally normalized in that amount of time. And I was kind of like ahead of that,
which is awesome.
Curve. Yeah. And you came to me and you were just like, here's how we're gonna make millions of dollars.
Well, just because I always knew you have this other side of you that like would get censored on other platforms.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what's cool, is like you can be your complete self.
It's my favorite fucking platform ever. It is. Yeah. I always say this when I'm talking to a creator about pitching them on like doing it, to me, it is just the most no-brainer way to monetize your content, because you really don't have to think about shit. There's really nothing that's too far. You have to think about what you are comfortable with. But I mean, I've always loved it, because it's like, I can smoke, I can drink, I can party, I can talk about my sex life, I can shake my ass, I can take my tits out, I can do whatever it is that I want to do. And it's for that niche amount, like part of your fan base that is down for it all. You know?
They're like, I want to see the real you.
Yeah.
And like a lot of times they like stuff that's like not edited or not so well put together.
Which I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, well, it's crazy. It's like all these other platforms are so like planned, and this is the only platform that it's like if you don't plan, it's like the better.
Absolutely. And for so long I was like, we need 3 photo shoots a month and they have to be perfect and I'm gonna make all this whatever. And then it was like I was realizing that I was making tenfold more money if I was just like, here's me in bed with no makeup, how I woke up. Like it's people love the
which is cool.
Yeah,
they
the
like
raw,
really love you for you,
which is awesome, and I'm like so fucking grateful for that. It's crazy. And you had I think this was you came to me when we noticed Tana Uncensored, my main OnlyFans. Yeah. That platform was doing so well, and we were kind of doing everything we could on there, like that I was comfortable with. Yeah. And that I wanted to do. And we were like, what else can we do? And we created the second subscription page, and I started doing the weekly show, Tana Gone Wild. And
which is so perfect for you because you're already like YouTubed, and now you can like cuss on it. Like YouTube wouldn't allow you, right?
Yeah, YouTube wouldn't allow me to swear or talk about anything that I really am ever talking about. And so we like created that, and it was so fun. And now we're even like with the canceled podcast. We were just talking about this at our dinner the other day. I'm so fucking excited to have at the end of every episode with Brooke shoot a rogue mini podcast and put that out onto Tana Gone Wild.
Yeah, it's gonna be so cool.
That's the cool thing I think about it is you can incorporate every aspect of your business onto OnlyFans, and I think a lot of creators don't realize that. Yeah, is it can be a way to just monetize everything you're already doing in a more authentic way. Yeah. So I'm really excited for that to be coming on Tana Gone Wild, and I'm just we got a lot of great regular content coming, and it's my favorite thing in the world, and getting to work beside you while doing it is so fucking fun. And this woman's mind is crazy, you guys. She every single time you've ever come to me and said, let's make $1 million, here's my plan, we made $1 million. And that is so fucking rare in this city and this industry. I sincerely mean it. Every time I post anything about you, I'm like, she keeps my lights on. She is a genius. Like it's so true. Like,
I love you. You're the best.
I hope you get all the credit and more for that, because not many people execute at the rate you execute at.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
It's funny too, like the way like men in this industry like talk about you and are threatened by you. Like anytime I'm on the phone with like a guy manager or a guy whatever, like, and you know what I mean? Like it's some business shit, and I bring you up or whatever, they'll always be like, she's a G, she's a boss, she's a this,
I love that.
And you don't hear like a lot of men saying that in this industry, and I really noticed that for the first time with you.
Oh, that makes me feel good.
It happened the other day. Like I was saying something, and some guy was like, yeah, she's such a fucking G. I was like, you're so threatened by her. Like it's just funny. It's iconic.
It makes me feel good because it's also so hard, because it's like there's a lot of people always trying to come after us too at the same time. So that makes me feel happy.
Well, people probably also just in the beginning too want, like, especially all these, not to keep going in on the men, I'm sorry men, but like looked at you as just like you and your sister as like two girls with a dream, you know what I mean? And then it was like you made multi-millions and millions of dollars, and they were like two girls with a dream. Like, like it's like y'all fucking actually are the definition of like a women-ran business that started with an idea, and it's I love it.
So much more to come. And so much more to come for you.
I'm excited for
you. Always have some crazy shit going on and a lot of stuff. And I know that if you just continue to build you and do you and be authentic, you're gonna have so much more coming in. So I'm excited to watch your journey. Okay, lastly, what is your $1 billion quality that got you to the place you are now?
Such a good question that I have zero answer to. I think for me,
I already know yours.
You're so cute. That's so cute.
I feel like it's your authenticity.
That's so nice.
That's what people feel relatable to you.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it all kind of does boil back to authenticity. I think for me, growing up with nothing made me, and as an only child and kind of in a household where I felt like anything I wanted, I had to do for myself. Yeah. I definitely I know at the end of the day when I open my eyes every single day, like if you don't do this, no one's gonna do it for you. And I've always felt that way, and I know it to be true. And it's not even it's not a sad thing. That's my life, and it is what it is. So I think it's always created a drive for me where like no matter what I have, I'm gonna find a way to make it fucking work.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your past actually like boosted you to be more confident. Where do you envision yourself in 3 years from now?
3 years from now, 27. Hopefully alive and making it out of the 27 club.
You're such a baby still.
It's crazy because I feel 85.
You've done so much.
God. I feel 80 fucking 5. Like right now I'm sitting here like my back. Hopefully by 27 I am like married or like about to get married.
Really?
Like, yes, I think so, but like maybe not. We don't know because I don't want to marry someone I hate, so we don't know. I would love it. I love the idea of like whole young parent, young marriage vibes. Yeah. But hopefully just adulting really hard and have some more things in my adulting life figured out, like driving a car could be a slay.
Yeah, I saw you getting your license the other day.
I'm trying so hard, but I'm failing so
You
miserably.
have to be vlogging that whole thing, I hope.
I'm vlogging as much of it as I can.
It's hilarious.
I tried like 3 years ago and vlogged all of it, like everyone teaching me to drive like whole nine, and then I was like, I'm just doing this for content and I need to actually like buckle in and be boring.
Yeah.
I know nothing about it. Like literally, like I think I was in a driver's ed lesson, like, which just is embarrassing as is, like 4 months ago. And I was like asking them genuinely, like, what does yield mean? And Amari, my best friend and roommate, walked up and he just started dying laughing at me. And I was like, so hopefully just adulting as hard as possible and figuring it out and being happy.
What's your favorite social media platform and why?
I've always really liked Twitter, and I think Twitter is so funny.
Just like your thoughts.
Yeah, and just people's tweets are just fucking hilarious, but I think TikTok has become my favorite by far. I love posting on TikTok more than like anything else. I think Instagram is like really awesome for the business of it all. You know, like you make so much money on Instagram, and it's the OG platform and you can use it for so much, but it's also a very contrived version of your reality. Yeah. Like all your stories, and literally right now I just posted your like cute indoor pool and then came in here like to podcast. Yeah. Like people think I'm like swimming and fucking like, you know, like it's just the whole thing of it is like, here's my fake life. Yeah. Whereas I really like that on TikTok I can be like ratchet and say what's on my mind and be crazy. Yeah. I love TikTok.
And it's the only place that you can really grow now. Yeah. That's what I've been hearing a lot of talent say. They're like, you can actually grow on there, whereas Instagram's so hard.
100%. I agree.
All right, well, amazing. I appreciate you for coming on. Tell everyone where they can find you, all your socials, your podcast coming out again.
They're probably sick of me after this, honestly, but Canceled Podcast is coming out soon. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
I'm Tana. If you want a deep dive rabbit hole on me, I'm scary, so be prepared. But I love you, thank you for having me. I'm just gonna fall asleep right here, honestly.
Yeah, good night.
Like, right fucking now. Like, good night, moon. In my fucking snapback, I look like somebody's uncle. But love you.
I love you.
Thank you for joining us, my $1 billion babies. This was such a fun episode with Tana. Please let us know what parts of the episode you liked the best, what resonated with you the most, because we are going to be reading and replying to your comments. And as always, follow me at TARUHHH for everything $1 billion baby, and tune in to next week's episode.